Right, well, I'm actually in the middle of doing a video on the boar drill, but I'm sort of reined off, and I have been not concerned but interested in this. I'm calling it big flu, but we all know it's a possible pandemic. Now, before we go any further, this is not an alarmist video. This is not a conspiracy video. There's obviously something going on. It's very bad in China, and we should, to a degree, be concerned about where it might lead. So I've been doing a little bit of research, and I just want to share that research with you, and I just want to share my thoughts on what I personally will be doing to lessen any effects caused by this virus. So I've called this video Big Flu because I have heard that there is a degree of censorship going on, and you can understand that. People can cause panic and alarm unnecessarily. So as I say, this is just to share a little bit of my research and to tell you what I'm doing. So I've got some notes here, and I've called it Big Flu, although we know it's the coronavirus, and it was originally called by the World Health Organization the 2019 novel coronavirus. Obviously it was discovered in 2019, about end of November sometime last year. A novel because it had not been found in humans before, and it rapidly progressed, and they renamed it SARS-CoV-2 because it's very similar to the 2003 SARS outbreak, and SARS stands for severe acute respiratory syndrome because it affects your respiratory tract and your lungs, which are quite important. So SARS, the original SARS, has been wiped out. I don't know whether it was wiped out through vaccine or what, but it's been wiped out, and now this new one's cropped up. And while this new one doesn't seem to be especially lethal, it does seem to be especially contagious. So I'm getting my current data primarily from two sources, and I'll show you now what those two sources are. I'm getting my data from several sources, but one which explains the medical aspects of the virus and a lot of the statistics is Dr. John Campbell's site, and he's been making videos on medical subjects for the past 12 years. He teaches medicine or nursing, and he also has experience in hospitals, in ITU, intensive care units. So if you want to know more about this virus specifically and medicine in general, then it's a very, very good site, highly recommended. So that's one place I get my information from. And then the other is the Johns Hopkins University in America, which tries to collate all the available information on the case rates, death rates, recovery rates, etc., and in which countries there is data for around the world. go on. I'll just talk a little bit about this virus as much as I know. Obviously, if you want to know more, go on to John Campbell's site, Dr. John Campbell, and links will be in the description. But originally it was thought it just spread via droplets. When you sneezed, droplets came out. You had to be in fairly close proximity. But due to the effective experiment with the cruise ship Diamond Princess, where the passengers were confined to their cabins, it now seems that the virus is actually airborne, so it can spread fairly large distances from one person to another person, where one person's in one room and another person's in another room, through the ventilation system, for example. So that's one form of transmission. Another form is surface contact. If I sneeze onto a surface, somebody touches that surface, then they could pick up what I've sneezed out and transfer it to themselves. And much more recently, it's been suggested through research that it can be also transmitted through feces and urine. So those two transmissions plus the airborne means it's got a lot more scope for getting into the air. So it's not looking good, is it? But let's not panic too much. Let's just go through a few of the facts. So how do you actually get the virus? Well, it's got to get to your mucous membrane, one of your mucous membranes. So it's got to get to your eyes, to your nose, or to your mouth. And then the virus can latch onto your cells and use them to replicate itself. But it's not all doom and gloom, because although it is a very contagious virus, it's not a very lethal virus, and in fact some people have barely known they've had it. It's like a mild flu, if you like, but if you are impaired in some other way, then it can become very serious. So I would say the vast majority of people that have died of it so far, and there's about 2,000, almost 2,500 recorded cases to date, most of those will have had underlying medical conditions. And there have also been 2 doctors that have died. One of them was only 29, but I suspect he was overworked and overwhelmed, not just by the COVID-19, but by other viruses as well that people were presenting with. So that takes us on to what we can do ourselves to limit the effects of it. Now certainly if you are in one of these at-risk groups where you've got some other underlying condition, bear in mind I'm not a medical person, I'm just thinking through things and trying to think, is the basic steps I can take to make life easier or safer for me. I'm not in an at-risk group, but if you are, then I would limit my contact with other people until we see where this thing's going. I'm not, so what am I going to do? Well, I am going to stay as healthy as I can, which means I'm going to eat healthily, as I do, plenty of fruit and vegetables, and if I think I'm not getting the vitamins that I need, then I'm going to take supplements. Now I'm out every day for quite significant periods of the day, so even though it's winter I'm still getting a bit of sun, but I'm probably not getting enough vitamin D. so I might take a vitamin D supplement. I certainly don't think I'm getting enough vitamin C, bearing in mind that vitamin C is an important vitamin in fighting viruses, although you do have to take quite a bit of it, and you can't take too much because it has side effects. So I do take a vitamin C supplement, and I might start taking a vitamin B6 supplement, because without the B vitamins you can't process a lot of your food anyway. Basically, I'm trying to stay healthy through eating healthily. I also want to stay healthy through getting enough sleep, and sleep's very important at combating any sort of cold, flu, virus, whatever's going about. If you're worn down, not getting enough sleep, that's one bad, or it's one way that you increase the chances of picking up whatever's going around. Staying warm. If you're out in the cold and you get miserably cold for a long period of time, you stand a greater chance of picking up any colds or viruses, because you reduce the efficiency of your immune system. Your immune system is much more efficient when you're warm, and that's one of the reasons you have a fever when you have a virus or a cold. Is that's your body's mechanism for increasing the capability of your immune system and fighting the infection, your body fighting the infection without any outside drugs or anything. It can do it itself. So try and stay warm, and I work outdoors in all weathers, so I'll be making extra efforts to stay warm. I usually can stay warm, but sometimes when you're soaking wet and it's sleeting, it's not quite so good. I'm not going to worry. Worrying doesn't help, does it? I think through things logically. Are there any steps I can take? I can, or I can't. There are some steps which I'm not going to take. I'm not going to go to work wearing a mask. I'm not going to do that, because it doesn't fit in with society as it is at the moment, and I don't want to alarm everybody else. Camera quit there for some reason. The show has to stay on the road as well, so we can't all be running scared and staying at home, otherwise we'd all starve to death and probably freeze as well. So you've got to be logical about things. So there's a couple of things I'm going to take to work with me. I'm going to take some hand sanitizer, and I'm going to take some baby wipes, and I'll use those occasionally. I'll try not to touch my face with my hands, and I'll wash my hands before I eat anything. I'll wash my cup out thoroughly because I don't know who's been using it when I've left it in the cupboard at work. And I'll just keep an eye on developments, and I'll take advice of our health authorities, although sometimes I feel you have got to go and seek a little bit of information yourself, and try and be ahead of things just a little bit, So it's best, I am, and I know other people are planning we are sort of independent people as bushcrafters, aren't we? We go out, we look after ourselves, we take first aid kit with us, we have the tools we need, we can build a shelter and all that. Well, this is bushcraft in the modern life, if you like. So it might be handy just to get a few bit extra food in, nothing that's going to spoil or out of the normal routine, so it's not stuff that you would never normally eat. It's stuff you would, few tins of soup, few tins of meat, just in case we get shut down like Italy at the moment. So there we go, it's in Italy, Europe. So in other words, we're planning for a bad situation, but not necessarily expecting a bad situation. So I just thought I'd put this out there because it does cover my lifestyle sort of thinking as a reasonably independent thinking person. I won't just listen to the news. I'll go out and search information out. And you shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't be frightened, and you shouldn't be overreacting. But you should be aware of what's going on around you. Just as if you're in the woods camping and it gets up windy, you should be aware, because next thing you're going to get a tree trunk on your tent if you're not careful. And that's just the sort of mentality. So I just thought I'd carry our bushcraft mentality through into real current life. So that's it. I'll stop waffling. I'm no expert, but you have experts at your fingertips in the form of Dr. John Campbell and the Hopkins University for compiling figures just to show you trends. Obviously you take the figures themselves with a pinch of salt, but it shows us what's going on. So before my battery packs in, and just to keep it short, I'll catch you on the next one, which should be my bow drill. Right, thank you.